The Islamabad Electric Supply Company, ESCO, on Monday issued a power suspension program for Tuesday in various areas of its region due to necessary maintenance and routine development work. According to an ESCO spokesperson, and power supply in areas falling under Islamabad Circle would remain suspended from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. from Kanadak, Burma, Wahidabad, Reman Enclave, Kana East, Kana Chukadir Road, Al Noor Colony, Sharifabad, Gori Garden, and Skimai, Garial I-8488, Markaz CCC2 and Fazaya feeders.
That the Peshawar High Court, PHC, on Monday sought a detailed response from the government regarding increasing deaths and health risks caused by rat bites in Peshawar and surrounding areas. The case was heard by a two-member bench comprising Justice Waqar Ahmad and Justice Babar Sattar during proceedings on a public interest petition related to public health concerns.
And enforcement teams of Punjab Food Authority, on the direction of PFA Director General Syed Musa Raza, carried out operations on Raiwind Road, Data Ganj Baksh Town and Paragon City. During the crackdown, a famous Nihari outlet, a fast food restaurant and a confectionery unit were sealed, while fines amounting to 50,000 were imposed on 3 food businesses over violations of food safety laws.
That Islamabad. More than 2 years after the general elections of February 2024, election tribunals across Pakistan have yet to dispose of nearly a third of election petitions. As a result, dozens of lawmakers continue to hold office under a legal cloud, with 128 cases still awaiting adjudication, according to the Free and Fair Election Network, FAFN. By the end of April 2026, election tribunals had decided 246, or 66%, of the 374 petitions filed against GE 2024 outcomes in 113 National Assembly and 236 Provincial Assembly constituencies. Of these, 73 out of 124 petitions pertaining to National Assembly constituencies and 173 out of 250 petitions about provincial assemblies have been disposed of.
And Islamabad. Senators on Monday decried the latest hike in petroleum prices and costly energy, accusing the government of economic oppression and calling for an exit from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, program. PTI's parliamentary leader in the Senate, Barrister Syed Ali Zafar, termed the fresh hike in petroleum prices a petrol bomb and economic oppression against the public, regretting the Rs 117.5 per litre levy.
Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has pledged to prove his doubters wrong as he fights for his political future in the wake of last week's disastrous local election results and growing speculation that a leadership contest may not be far off. In a make-or-break speech on Monday, the leader of the ruling Labour Party said that he remains the man to deliver change and will take responsibility for fulfilling his party's electoral promises.
And Redwood Materials has finally found a new chief financial officer roughly a year and a half after its last one departed. He's a familiar face to the former Tesla executives running the battery recycling and energy storage company. On Monday, and Redwood Materials said it has hired former Tesla finance chief Deepak Ahuja as its new CFO. Ahuja joins an executive team that includes Tesla's former CTO, J.B. Straubel, and Redwood's founder and CEO, and former Tesla powertrain vice president Colin Campbell, Redwood's CTO, among a number of other Tesla expats throughout the ranks. Most recently, Ahuja was chief finance and business officer at drone company Zipline.
Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting Atola Tarar on Monday expressed gratitude to journalists for ending their walkout from the proceedings of the Parliament. Speaking on the floor of the National Assembly, he said that advertisements of a television channel which had terminated 170 employees had been immediately suspended.
And the upcoming Oppo Find X10 Pro Max has appeared in a new leak revealing details about its cameras, display and chipset. According to Tipster Digital Chat Station, the Find X10 series is expected to launch in China in October and may include the Find X10, Find X10 Pro and Find X10 Pro Max. And The Senate on Monday passed 5 private member bills. The bills included the Islamabad Capital Territory Compulsory Thalassemia Screening Bill 2026, the Corporate Social Responsibility Bill 2026, the Pakistan Penal Code Amendment Bill 2026, the Islamabad Capital Territory Maternity Benefit Amendment Bill 2022, and the Right to Free and Compulsory Education Amendment Bill 2022.
The Board of Directors, Board of Trans Peshawar, has approved starting new feeder bus routes on Ring Road, Dilzak Road and Khyber Road, that as well as the operation of additional buses on the main Bus Rapid Transit BRT corridor to reduce the waiting time of the commuters. The approval was given during the 46th meeting of the Board of Directors of Trans held at the Planning and Development Department, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The meeting was chaired by the additional Chief Secretary, Planning and Development, Islam Zeb. All the board members attended the meeting.
And Punjab, Chief Minister Mariam Nawaz Sharif chaired the 34th meeting of the Provincial Cabinet, which approved a wide range of policy decisions, development initiatives, administrative reforms and public welfare programs across multiple sectors. Here on Monday, the Cabinet approved the launch of the Apna Ket, Apna Rozgar scheme for residents of Cholistan and riverine areas on easy terms. It was informed that 30,000 plots had been identified under the programme, while around 200,000 families had already submitted applications. The Chief Minister directed strict digital monitoring of the scheme and ensuring citizens can access complete information with one click. And the Higher Education Commission of Pakistan, HC, on Monday announced the launch of a fully online and paperless degree attestation system to facilitate students. In December last year, and the HEC said that it had initiated a project to revamp its degree attestation system by integrating cutting-edge blockchain technology, saying the project would be completed within 6 months. Meanwhile, the National Assembly Standing Committee on Government Assurances had also asked the Higher Education Commission, HEC, to reduce the turnaround time in degree attestation.
Skipper Najmul Hossain Shanto hit an unbeaten half-century as Bangladesh extended their lead by 179 runs on the rainy 4th day of the first test against Pakistan on Monday. The hosts were 152-3 in their second innings, with Shanto on 58 not out alongside Mushfiqur Rahim on 16 when stumps were drawn for the day at the Sherry Bangla National Cricket Stadium in Dhaka.
And a man charged with attacking the White House Correspondents Association dinner in Washington, D.C. last month has pleaded not guilty. Cole Thomas Allen, 31, was charged with federal gun crimes and attempting to assassinate U.S. President Donald Trump. And dozens of Nigerian fishermen are feared dead after Chad's military launched airstrikes on Boko Haram militants in the Lake Chad region. A local fishermen's leader has told the BBC. Abubakar Gamandi Usman, chairman of Lake Chad Basin Fisheries Association of Nigeria, said several of the union's members were missing and estimated more than 40 had died. And it was an unusual statement to make at a time of acute pressure. Russian President Vladimir Putin used the weekend's hallowed May 9 Victory Day parades, commemorating the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany, to utter something remarkable, and that he believed the matter of the Ukrainian conflict was coming to an end. This comment, Putin's first real indication his war of choice might be nudging towards a conclusion, and came after a lengthy lament about the failed negotiations at the start of the 2022 invasion, and was extraordinarily brief.
Elika's Kamala Harris weighs another run for the United States presidency in 2028. The Democratic Party faces a split over Israel policy. A new report suggests it may have cost votes in 2024. With a base that has shifted dramatically, can the party keep up with what its voters now expect? The man accused of trying to assassinate United States President Donald Trump at a White House reporters' gala last month has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Cole Allen, 31, of California, did not speak in court as his attorney Tezira Abe entered the plea on his behalf. The charges include attempted assassination of the president, assault on a federal officer, and firearms offenses.
And legal experts have warned that legislation being pushed through the Israeli parliament could result in Palestinians detained around the time of the October 7th, 2023 attacks face publicly broadcast show trials and the death penalty. And the proposed bill, which has gained rare bipartisan support from both the governing coalition and the opposition, recently entered the parliament, known as the Knesset, and for its final readings, and would create a special military tribunal to try Palestinians accused of playing a role in the 7 of October attacks, when Hamas-led fighters stormed communities along southern Israel's fence with Gaza. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged Indians to work from home and avoid international trips and not buy gold during the United States-Israeli war on Iran, which has caused global energy prices to surge. Adding pressure on India's foreign exchange reserves, Modi made his plea during a public event in the southern city of Hyderabad on Sunday. And the ceasefire in Lebanon that started on April 16 is increasingly coming under strain, with both Israel and Hezbollah ramping up attacks against each other. The ceasefire began after 6 weeks of fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, but the following day, Lebanon's army reported several violations by Israeli forces. Since then, both Israel and Hezbollah have continued attacks.
That the New York Times is betting that the Wordle craze isn't over yet. On Monday, the Times announced that it would be turning the hit mobile word game into a televised game show on NBC. Today, show anchor Savannah Guthrie will host while the Times and will both serve as production partners. Guthrie and Fallon announced the news on the 8 hard-time AM broadcast of the Today Show on Monday, where they shared that the game show had been in development for the past 2.5 years.
And public health experts have called for immediate resumption of anti-rat operations across the Peshawar, following reports of a hantavirus outbreak aboard a cruise ship allegedly linked to severe rodent infestation. They warned that the unchecked increase in rodent populations in densely populated urban areas could heighten the risk of transmission of dangerous zoonotic diseases, posing a serious threat to public health and sanitation. And new research suggests coffee does more than boost energy, as scientists uncover its role in reshaping the gut and influencing mental well-being. A study conducted by APC Microbiome Ireland and published in Nature Communications found that both caffeinated and decaffeinated coffee can positively affect the gut microbiome and, in turn, mood and cognition. And Pakistan fast bowler Shaheen Afridi reached a major career milestone after taking his 400th international wicket during the first test against Bangladesh at the Sher-e-Bangla National Cricket Stadium. The left-arm pacer achieved the landmark on the 4th day of the ongoing test when he dismissed Ismailistef batter Mominul Haq. With the wicket, Shaheen became only the 5th Pakistan fast bowler and 9th Pakistan bowler overall to reach 400 international wickets. And several smartphone brands are reportedly preparing new wide foldable devices following the recent launch of the Huawei Pura X Max. Speculation has also suggested that Samsung could introduce a similar device alongside the Galaxy Z Fold 8 and Galaxy Z Flip 8 later this year. Meanwhile, Apple is reportedly developing its first foldable iPhone, possibly called the iPhone Ultra, which could launch in September. And Federal Minister for Energy Awais Leghari on Monday announced that electricity prices in Pakistan will soon be so cheap that consumers will be able to store power in batteries during the day and use it at night. Speaking via video link at a conference in Lahore, the minister said that major reforms are being introduced in the energy sector to improve efficiency and reduce long-term costs. And European Union (EU) foreign ministers reached an agreement on Monday on new sanctions targeting violent Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank, as well as leading Hamas figures. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said the sanctions package, which targets 3 settlers and 4 settler organizations whose identities have yet to be publicly disclosed, had been blocked for months by the previous Hungarian government, which lost an election last month. And the most powerful figure in Bosnia and Herzegovina has confirmed that he is stepping down. Christian Schmidt has served as International High Representative since 2021, the second longest tenure of any High Representative. His time in the post was filled with conflict and controversy.